Hey, what is up guys, Masterleaf here, back to do another video commentary, and thought I'd do a special video today of me playing Bikerushownz. Now this was taken from the recent Ladder Wars tournament, and this was the semi-finals. I'm going to showcase two particular games in this series, the two good games I believe that emerged from this best of 7 series. Now going into this, I did not realize that it was a cash prize event. In fact, there was $125 up for grabs. But yeah, I'm going to be Traveler 59 in this first game here, opening up with Disintegrators. Bikerush has gone with GDI. I specifically picked Random instead of Traveler. In hindsight, I probably should have gone Traveler. Picked it myself, but yeah, this is on the Redzone version of Odyssey as well. It's like Odyssey, only there is a blue field in the middle of the map. I'm going to open up with 7 Disintegrator squads, mostly to harass his spikes. I know I'm not going to be able to kill a Harvester. I mean, it's Bikerushownz. He's not going to miss these Disintegrators coming towards him. He's always good at scouting. But I believe this rush is still potent to this day. I can force him to overspend. He made a barracks, sold it off for a discounted rifleman. Only comes to $250 when he does that. I don't know why he sent them up to the top. Maybe he didn't scout this. Nevertheless, I'm going to go for this type room spike. Paying attention to his APC because I don't want it to deploy some mines right in front of this spike entrance. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I know he's going to drop mines. I see and hear the mines being laid, and I quickly go back. I don't want to go into those burrowed mines and lose my Disintegrator squads unnecessarily. I've got 3 in 1 here. I maintain all my Disintegrator squads alive. I kill a Tiv spike. That's really the most I can hope for. Pull a squad back there, the one that he was targeting. That APC of his is on pretty low health. I can use the spike as cover and put some pretty decent DPS on this. That spike, if it goes down, is going to be a big loss for Bikerush. So he's going to try and hold this off with APCs. 2 APCs falls, and he loses a Tyburn spike. So he committed quite a lot into the defense of his Tiv spikes there. I'm going to force these Disintegrators back. No need to lose them now. I can use them for scouting purposes, and since I've already got that advanced articulate upgrade, I'm going to transition into more Disintegrators. A 5th Harvester spawns from my Wart Sphere, and I'm going to go for a follow-up of more Disintegrators, a Gunwalker as well, just to anti-scout the Rifleman's so he doesn't see this coming. He can go for an airfield if he wants to counter this, but I can always build a Gunwalker or 2 and scare back the Hammerhead. It's not as easy as building a Hammerhead to stop this. Rifleman there for him. He's going to scout this soon, so I need to get these Disintegrator squads out across the map before he reveals this. He's going to see it soon, or he's going to know something's up because he'll scout this no expansion refinery, which can mean only one thing. I'm going for Disintegrators or a 1-base tech, or potentially even Storm Riders. I'm known to be pretty unorthodox, so Bikerush can expect mostly everything, but it's going to probably be infantry, considering I already have that upgrade researched. I'm going to queue in a simulator. This was just a really random decision of mine. Random simulator. I was like, okay, I mean, if I get ahead in this game, what I can do is I can put a simulator where his expansion would be at his 3rd and try and take his MCV over. Potentially could work. Has worked for me in the past on Tournament Decision. On that map, it's great. You can send this simulator to your opponent's expansion and just wait until the MCV gets there and deploys. Distract your opponent while capturing the construction yard. Hammerhead has revealed and is taking out these Disintegrators at the expansion. Mines also were late, but I was able to kill 2 Harvesters. A 3rd one may go down there to those Disintegrators, which it does do. I'm also taking blue Tyrone behind this. Versus Bikerush, you got to maximize what you can do at all moments, because he is always a player who's on point and in this game it is no exception. He's gonna now counterattack me with APM and APCs. This is gonna be tricky for me to hold since I only have one Warp Sphere, but I do have photon cannons, and when I get the nerve center, I'll also unlock the lightning spike support power, which will help in my defense even more. In hindsight, the photon cannon would have been better to be placed at my refineries there, but nevertheless, harvesters are going to be targeted. He can use the mine drop power and inflict huge damage on these harvesters. He may get one harvester goes down, but at the cost of most of his APCs in the process. But the thing about that is he's no longer going to have anti-infantry. He's got the APM upgrade. He can deploy watchtowers, but knowing now that his APC count has diminished, I can probably go back into more disintegrator spam if I want. 9 harvesters for me. A little bit on edge here. I played Cyberstorm prior to this game. APC's getting targeted down. Assimilator, I was wondering why I put it up there. That was a bit of a misclick or miss rally point. It should have been at his ramp, more or less, in that location. Hammerhead comes in, probably to try and kill a Prodigy. Bikerush is looking to find any opportunity he can. Any mistake I make, he will capitalize on. I see the airfield, which can mean only one thing. There's going to be Firehawks. Fortunately, there are only 2 there. Maybe he was hoping I wouldn't have a tech center, but I had already built that one there. So he's going to get the tier 2, not cancel the tier 3. I'm working on a Prodigy now. Mecha P's coming out for me as well. Firehawk goes down. Bikerushownz has built a war factory. He needs to deal with these Mecha P's. He's on tier 3. Because we saw the Firehawks, he probably is going for a Marv. MCV deployed down there. He is not going to take the expansion, probably because he fears the Prodigy. The Prodigy can, of course, just teleport up there and take out the MCV. Firehawks do destroy my tier 3 finally. I could have placed that storm column before, then he wouldn't have been able to so easily kill it. Prodigy moving forward. I need to watch out for these APMO towers. Hammerheads are there. What I can do is I can teleport this Prodigy back and get all these Gunwalkers to quickly target down those Hammerheads, and the Prodigy will live. I don't have to go back to base to get some heals up on this Prodigy. I can just use the reconstruction drones, which is unlocked by placing a Warp Sphere, and this Prodigy will get some heals for me. He's trying to focus on the Prodigy. He's trying to stabilize himself in this game. He's getting those Firehawks back out, a double airfield, but he's no longer going to have the opportunity to build any more since his tech center did get sold off there. The Prodigy's power wasn't utilized. It does cancel the mind control if the opponent sells the structure off. So sometimes letting that Prodigy use the manipulator device is the best course of action. Finally, I do have my tier 3 down, and now I'm going to go back for an arrow Prodigy. I cannot really play around versus Bikerush. I have an advantage here, and I don't want to throw it away. Predator tanks for Bikerush. He's trying to kill those Gunwalkers, but the tier 3 is down. He's going to have to rebuild that. But his Tide Room situation is probably also looking dire. Remember, he lost one spike earlier on in this game, so he's going to be lacking in that passive income as well. He's going for blue Tide Room, however. He's been taking that. I probably should have done a better job in preventing him from capturing that blue. Anyways, I send my assimilator to his construction yard, which I had hidden away there for a while. I was able to get that. Gunwalker's distracting him in the back. Hexapod on the way as well. Another stasis chamber. Must have lost it to the Firehawks. I built a outpost. This outpost was to deploy at the expansion so I could put refineries down, but sadly there was a waypoint bug and the outpost deployed before it got up the ramp. That wasn't my command, this. I waypointed it up there, but just like MCVs, they don't follow that very well if the terrain isn't flat. So yeah, this outpost deploy unfortunately was not successful. Yeah, but it is what it is. It's going to delay my expansion. He's taking all the blue, or the blue that was left. Again, I took a lot of it as myself. I don't want him to get this because he will find a way back in this game if I'm not careful. He's very good at finding ways back into games. So even though I do have a small lead in this game, it's just not over yet because we're talking about Bikerush here. Hexapod working on those Predator tanks, hammerheads as well, looking to kill the tripods or do any sort of damage that they can. Doesn't want to gift units to this Hex because I will gain resources through its recycling ability. Tripod getting some heals up as well. I sell one of those refineries off there. It's not a big deal keeping refineries around as Skrin and not selling them off because you don't have the same problem as GDI Nod where you lose resources for every refinery that's destroyed by battle. If you sell them off, then of course you don't lose income, but if your opponent destroys a ref, then there's a high likelihood that you'll lose some income. So that's a disadvantage of playing GDI and Nod. Skrin, again, you don't have to worry about it because they don't require silos. Hexapod, I'm going to get some damage dealt on that MCV. I'm careful not to go too far forward with this Hex because I know he's going to have EMP grenades. We saw a barracks, which can mean only one thing. He's planning to EMP this Eradicator. I put a Prodigy in this Hexapod so I can teleport that away from danger, which is going to help me here keep this alive. I can also use the S key on my Hexapod to turn it around very quickly. This is how it can change directions and avoid being hit by those grenades. That's a trick you can use with the Eradicator. Hexapod, though, is moving back. I'm going to go back to base. There's no need for me to push because I do have an expansion. Bikerush does not. He does not have an MCV either, so it's foolish of me to take an engagement where he has a disadvantage. I can get further ahead here by just setting up my expansion and building more units. I'm going Gunwalkers to deal with those hammerheads, to deal with those grenadiers. Another refinery would also be helpful at this stage of the game. Mecha P's very good with that disc segment, able to kill those hammerheads. So despite the sonic weaponry that we see deployed by Bikerush, the Mecha P still maintain mobility over the Shatterers. So even though Shatterers destroy mechas, you can outpace them and go to places where they are not. And they're very good for catching up to enemy aircraft. Way quicker than the Gunwalkers, and DPS wise, if you load up a Mecha P with disc segments, are incredibly powerful against enemy aircraft. Lots of harvesters on that one refinery. Good thing I fixed the harvester bug, or yeah, that would be terrible. I'd have loads of hard bugging and my eco would not be as smooth as it is. So Bikerush trying to hit me from multiple sides. You know, despite him taking all that damage, he just does not want to fall in this game. He doesn't want to give up. Predator tanks hitting my Expo. Not too concerned about that. It's not really an important structure for me to take. And I need to apply more pressure. I cannot let him continue to attack me like this because he's going to be recovering behind this. Probably has an MCV back out at this point. I area mind control him. And again, like I said, he's got an expansion. So yeah, he is back in this game. I don't know how it was possible, but Bikerush found a way. I'm going to apply another round of attacks on him. Some upgraded power plants back there. Prodigy did get taken out, I think. I'm hitting him now from two sides, so I'm repaying the favor, going for him in two directions. I can take out this MCV, and again, he's going to be without an MCV if these tripods successfully take that one out. Overlord's Wrath comes down. This is going to be great if this game miraculously prolongs to a late game. Then I'm going to have lots of resources over him with this Overlord's Wrath field being a permanent field that regrows on my Expo. I can also build those growth stimulators, which will give Skrin the longevity to stay in this game much longer than the GDI and Nod factions can. Tripod there gets EMP'd, but he only has some hammerheads to kill this tripod. Not nearly enough, unfortunately for him. Devastator there, upgraded with that Traveler engine. Such a pivotal upgrade for the Traveler 59. I prefer them over the shields personally myself. 60% speed increase is way more significant than a shield. It does make the Devastator way harder to kill. And that's Bikerushownz's only ref on that field there. He'll want to keep it alive because that will provide him with ground control if he somehow stays in this game. He actually has another refinery, never mind. So he's still got eco, but I have air and he hasn't got anything to stop it. I'm gonna go for his Tiburon spikes. I'm trying to capitalize on what I can. Even blue Tiburon at this point I need to grab. I can't let Bikerush breathe. Hexapod, don't want that impede. That's my ticket to victory here because it's going to generate resources. Albeit only 15% of the unit's value that it kills. Nonetheless, still great for me. Triple gravity stabilizer, planetary assault carrier, devastator warship spam, and his MCV is gonna fall. It's not gonna survive. There's nothing that Bikerush can do against this. There's more packs, more devastators moving in. I finally used the temporal wormhole to slow down this push. He's trying to attack my Expo, but with no anti-air, Bikerush will be forced to call the GG. That is gonna be game one. That was actually the first game in the series versus Bikerush. I got Traveler from random, and I thought I played very well there, considering that I haven't done that in many years. Anyways, that is game one on Traveler 59, and while the second game I want to showcase is not necessarily game two, it was the third game, and I believe this one also was played decently from either one of us. So let's go into that one and see what it's all about. Okay guys, welcome back to game number 2 in this video against Bikerushownz. I saw a couple of comments asking for games to be played versus Bikerush, and I endeavor to provide more games like this in the future. I want to improve and get back to the level I was back in the day. Anyways, this game I'll be playing as the Black Hand. I picked random, though really I probably should have just picked Traveler 59 considering my performance in game number 1. I decided to go with random, which was possibly a mistake, yet I did not realize the tournament was a prized event. If I had known, then I would have taken it a bit more seriously and gone for Traveler 59, but I wasn't really in the mood per se to pick Traveler 59 on the day. I think I should have done that, but nevertheless, Black Hand versus Black Hand is going to be the matchup, and I'm not a particularly good Knob Mirror player. Nonetheless, there were some signs here of me doing some try-hard stuff with Nod in a Knob Mirror. I always say I dislike Knob Mirrors, but I believe I can play them. I've shown that I can in the past in tournaments if the need arises. I just don't particularly enjoy playing them. So random this time gave me Black Hand. Bikerush picked Black Hand himself. And I'm already starting things off with some really unique play. I'm going for a buggy, 2 buggies in fact, and a bike. Why is this? Well, Bikerush is going to interpret this perhaps as an all-in. He sees 2 Raider buggies and a bike. He may be like, okay, there's something weird coming. Who builds 2 buggies and a bike? Maybe it's an all-in. So I'm hoping he'll cancel his refinery and build a barracks and build a rocket squad. That's what I'm hoping for. If not, then I could have just gone for the all-in and he would have lost. Just sneezed. Hopefully that wasn't caught on mic. I was quick in muting it. Anyways, Bikerush ecoed up. He didn't fall for the shenanigan I did there, but that just shows how on point I was in this game and the last game, to be honest. Able to come up with such mind games early on, and really, I don't think casters would be able to pick up on such things, hence why I'm giving you my post-game analysis. So MCV is going to the expansion now. I'm going to eco up because I believe I am a little bit ahead here. Bikerush made 2 bikes. He must have sensed that something was up. Not necessarily an all-in, but maybe he was a bit spooked out by the 2 raider buggies. So I'm going to have a harvester lead over him, and yes, by the way, 1 harvester over your opponent at this stage of the game is a big deal. So I'm a little bit ahead of him at this present time, but he's going to have more units out on the map, which is concerning to me. That's why I'm going to cancel harvester production, go for some units. And because I know I'm behind in unit count, and Bikerush most likely has a second war factory because he picks up on such things very easily as a professional RTS player. He's going to probably have 2 war factories. I'm going to focus fire on his bikes here. I don't usually do this. I never really focus attack like this. I'm drafting shredder turrets and I'm targeting bikes. I'm ignoring his raider buggies. And that's going to allow me to lessen the DPS of his attack force there. Look at the DPS. I mean, it amounts to a lot when you focus fire like that. It just saves my bikes from wasting their volleys on bikes that are 1 shot away from death. I'm going to go for a tier 2. I was a bit unsure why I built a tier 2. I'm not as proficient in knob mirrors, so perhaps some optimization would be ideal here, but I was like, okay, I just built a tier 2. I'm not sure why I did this. If he goes for a fast click and I'm going for a fast click, isn't it better for me to go for a 4th refinery first? Because then otherwise he's gonna just reduce me down to the 2 refs. So I decide, okay, that was a mistake by me. I'm gonna make use of this opportunity and go for a flame tank. I've got some bike buggy on this map, Bikerush as well. I'm going for more bike buggy myself. Scorpion tanks with that dozer blade upgrade is on the way. The sooner I can get that dozer upgrade, the better it is for me. And I was like, uh-oh, he's going to probably see the flame tank on the right-hand side. But no, he didn't. So that was fortunate. The fog of war does save me there. That refinery placement of mine could have been risky. He probably could click them, or maybe not. They're just about unclickable. But in a knob mirror, especially versus Bikerush, you want to make sure that you don't have your refs too close together. You can't afford to make any mistakes at all. I'm going for Scorpion tanks now. His bike buggy was forced back. Scorpion tank up in the left-hand side. Yeah, Bikerush really playing well in this game. You see just the difference in his reaction and how he scouts. But one thing he didn't scout though was the flame tank in the bottom, which is slowly heading towards his base. And I'm going to follow this up with a chemical plant, hoping to burn down one of his refineries with the flame tank and then click the other one with my catalyst missile. And he's going to have a catalyst missile of his own soon. Some Scorpion tanks moving into my base. Flame tank does manage to kill his refinery. Catalyst missile comes down. He gets 1 ref, but I overall inflicted more damage since I'm gonna do the catalyst missile on his only remaining refinery. I'm also putting some counter-attack damage on him here, and this is where things got a bit weird. I am ahead in this game right now. He has no expansion refs. I've got lots of Scorpion tanks. He's going to build another refinery. He's got tier 3. Likewise, I do myself. I use the C-type room. I sell the chemical plant. So far, so good. I'm doing very well here. Harvest is idle, not at work, but I'm going to get this refinery down. Flame tank of his coming into my base. This is just stalling my momentum that I have. He's going to be able to get this flame tank in and try and kill my base, but the dozer blade scorps are going to be there to defend my base off quite nicely. Bikerush gets an expansion set up once again. He's got an obelisk too, so he's now transitioned fully into tier 3. I'm going for a redeemer now on my 2 fields. Maybe a mistake, I don't know. You guys will have to tell me after this game where I could have optimized my play. So I'm looking at his MCV and thinking, yeah, I need to try and kill that, if at all possible. Getting my Redeemer, because that's the tankiest and most effective thing I can build against mass Scorpions, aside from my own tanks. And only now do I pack my MCV up and go for an expansion. MCV of his taking damage. little attack happening on the left-hand side. He's there to meet me with his own tanks. I think he also purchased the Dozer Blade upgrade. If he didn't, it's pretty one-sided, the engagement. I was under attack. I thought that was more than what he actually had. I'm going to win this fight here with the Scorpion tanks, but I'm going to find his base undefended, actually. His expansion is going to be taking huge damage. I clean up that force there. And with this army on the right-hand side, I should have pulled that back flame tank heading towards the bottom. And yeah, this is it for me. I need to pull these tanks back to base. They've done the damage. There's no need for me to stick around there anymore. Redeemer, let's sell that off. And I wasn't paying attention to my army, which is on the right-hand side. I was busy doing some micro here, which was unnecessary. Bikerush, as a result, was able to kill a number of my Scorpion tanks in his base. So yeah, I'm a bit wasteful. Redeemer moving in. Those tanks which I had lost in his field could have been used in my assault in his base there. Nevertheless though, I'm going to rebuild some more tanks, and again, these obelisks, they did more damage than what I had hoped. I would have had 20 tanks in this fight and a Redeemer. But alas, only a couple of tanks remain for me. I've got the EMP coils online. He doesn't. I EMP'd his tech center because I was afraid he'd research that to counter my Redeemer. I mean, we know he's probably going to get it. Sadly for me, I was unable to take out that tech center with the flame tank. I was hoping to do so, to deny Obelisk, to force him on tier 1. But yeah, these tanks are going to be mostly to stop his buggies from coming in and EMPing my epic unit. That's what I have built these for. And the Dozer Blades, man, 20% armor does allow them to withstand a shot from a Redeemer, even taking rear armor damage. Only now I'm establishing an expansion. I go for the buggies. He's trying to attack me from multiple sides. These buggies are trying to do damage. EMP buggies. Only will get one EMP fired off though, which is a good thing for me. He's not going to have more buggies coming in, which is a good thing. Epic unit though coming in. I should have focused on his Raider buggy there. He does get another EMP off. This is probably the problem with going for more for an epic, right? They are vulnerable to EMP, so as people like CGF, they always complain that epic units, they dominate late game. It's not the case. Like, where is the dominance from epic units? He's going infantry now, he's got tanks, and my advantage has now been reduced. I only have a handful of tanks left, no epic anymore for me. And I see a bunch of infantry coming towards me. I don't have the charged particle beam upgrade researched, which is the most common response to infantry. Generally, infantry for Black Hand in mirrors don't do too much damage due to Scorpion tanks crushing them. Not to mention the charged particle beam turrets, which now benefit from quad turrets. And I'm going to do neither one of those things and actually build Black Hand commandos, because they start off as heroic. They shoot really quickly. This infantry of his stands no chance at all versus these Black Hand commanders. So once those come out, I'm going to be able to attack him once more with these tanks. I'm going back for Scorpion tanks. Really what I should have done here was gone for another Redeemer again as quick as possible. Just keep building Redeemers. If you lose it, build another one. Lose it, build another one. So yeah, this is one good play I made here, was going for those Black Hand commandos, and I'm able to once again turn the tide. So this infantry of his was built in panic to kill my epic unit, but he's going to pay for it here now, because I have the Black Hand commandos out, 2 of which are on this map. Black Hand don't have Venoms. Now Bikerushownz does have a Redeemer. We did hear moments before that he's got an epic unit. I'm going to put some Shredder turrets down because I was afraid that he'd have his epic here, and the MCV does go down for him, so he doesn't have an expansion rep, but we do an expansion MCV, but he does have a second MCV pushing towards me. Okay, his epic unit's out now. These Black Hand commanders are so hard to kill, and Bikerushownz must not have a tier 2 because he's not able to fence those. Commando coming in will destroy another Shredder turret. He did not get the charged particle beam upgrade either, which makes 2 of us I also purchased it later on because it's not really an upgrade you need when your opponent is not building infantry. And I wasn't building infantry, only I built a commando. That was the only reason I built the secret shrine. But I was able to take out Bikerushownz's entire expansion, and now Bikerushownz's tanks are moving into my base. I try and EMP a bunch of them. I'm trying to kill or win an engagement. Like, whoever wins a big engagement will probably take this game. I'm looking to be in a better position since I have lots of money coming in through my expansion. But one thing I did forget was the fact that Bikerush has had my Tiberium spikes. He captured them a while ago, and I was unaware, I was completely oblivious to the fact that he had captured those. So perhaps a mistake from me was not capping those back, as well as his spikes as well. Destroying those would have been massive. So he's getting $40 a second, despite not having any expansion, no Tiberium left on it. He is getting lots of resources through those tip spikes. I'm getting no resources. So tanks I have more of right now. I've got the Black Hat Commando as well, so infantry not going to be a viable counter for Bikerush. He's going to have to rely on tanks. His Redeemer, I'm looking to EMP. This Commando could be used to take out his Conyard. He does have the Charged Particle Beam upgrade now, so it's going to be a bit of a suicide run for him. But if I take this MCV down to low health, it's not going to be able to be fenced, right? Once it reaches 66% health, it cannot be fenced, and he's going to have to pack it up or sell it. He chooses to sell it there, which is probably the best thing for him. He's going to use his Redeemer as bait. I need to be targeting down his tank. Lots of Scorpion tanks for either one of us. A ton of EMPs coming down. My Redeemer has come out of EMP. I'm not sure if it has used its rage, but I'm in a good position. I'm going to come in, move into this base, take out this Conyard, and I have a significant tank advantage compared to him now with like a dozen tanks to his 4 or 5 tanks. If I target down this Scorpion tank of his, I will be able to come out ahead with a huge numbers advantage. Now, one thing I could have done here was move my MCV into this fight to place those Charged Particle Beam Shredder turrets down. This infantry that he's building would have done nothing. Scorpion tanks coming out. I still have 10 tanks, but they are streamlining in one by one in these Raider buggies. He was able to get another one out from that War Factory, which I almost destroyed. And now I need more Raider buggies because he doesn't... I just don't have any way to kill that Redeemer otherwise. I need to keep it locked down. I need to rebuild my tanks. I also need to sell my tier 3 off. That's $2,000. But little did I know, the reason why Bikerush is able to fund more units is because he has those spikes of mine. He has had them for a while, and I did not realize it was not on my mind. I thought I had a significant lead, yet I was unaware completely about it. So my Redeemer is taking huge damage at this point. MCV as well, I decided to sell this off because he's going to move his Redeemer in and kill it otherwise. No Scorpion tanks for him, but I do have lots of ways to deal with his inf. Just a Redeemer to take out and an elite Scorpion tank. He's going to go back to base. He's only got one War Factory as far as I'm aware. And a Redeemer. That Redeemer though is a big problem. Bikerush making a good comeback here, but again, through the mistakes of his opponent. He's very good at capitalizing on mistakes, and despite having a good lead, a good position, I felt like I threw it away a bit too much. Lots of small mistakes that I made in this game that accumulated over time. I was in a good position when I got his refineries with the flame tank and catalyst missile. I also took out his base with those commandos, so I had a number of opportunities to win, but sadly Bikerush is going to find himself to be in a better and better position now since he has his Redeemer, and he's going to get that back to base to full health. I cannot really compete with this anymore because they don't have any passive resources, and yeah, harvesters, I have nowhere to gather Tiberium anymore. All the Tiberium has been harvested on this map. He's long leeching Tib. And with this, I'm probably going to pack in the towel and just say GG because there's no way I can win otherwise. But it is a tournament, so I'm going to keep on going. I was curious to know why I had no money, and that was because he had those spikes which he captured. and I duly noted that to Bikerush. Anyways, that is it. Bikerush will win this game, and I thought that was a pretty epic game on Tournament Odyssey, despite the mistakes made and despite what I consider to be a throw. I thought it was a GG, and Bikerush made a good comeback there. Many players, if not all players, would have lost that game in that position, but Bikerush came through and won nonetheless. Anyways guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then don't forget to hit the like button. I really appreciate that. And before I go, I'd like to thank all my Patreon members for supporting me and my channel and keeping this game and community going. So this is it from me, Masterleaf, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.